Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10. I'm in LA with my son at Six Flags, so everything's amazing. So much healing is happening. Hope it is for you. A lot of doors are flying open for a lot of people. As a lot of doors closed, so I hope you're seeing both of those things happen. And um, we're just doing amazing things here, and a lot of really breakthroughs for us, um, and for my whole family. I had some questions come in. Uh, I may have talked about this in the last episode a little bit, but I'm gonna elaborate on it if I didn't. Yeah, so somebody was asking about um, this. They had a breakthrough where they could perceive that something that they didn't know was possible is possible, and that it's possible for them. So they were studying something that's pretty intense, some pretty powerful type of training that's usually reserved for like Shaolin priests or things that are like this pretty intense work. With this group of people are doing it, they've sort of picked one really intense thing to do, and they're doing it really well, and so they're all having a lot of intense breakthroughs, which is incredible, right? So cool thing to be around. And she got inspired, and she was realizing and feeling her potential, and she was really kind of woken up to that potential. And then she said, it was kind of a real moment for her. And then she went to sleep. The next morning, she woke up and was like scared, like, wait, how did I let myself think that that was possible? And all this limitation poured in, and all these thoughts came in, and it was like, okay. And so she kind of had to come to terms with the fact that what she thought was possible wasn't possible for her in that moment. And she was asking why. um, and this is just a really difficult thing to come to terms with, and will continue to be a difficult thing for many years. It's how you learn to take your energy back, and it's a slow process, and you start to become more conscious of your life, and then you become more conscious of your dreams. So your dreams become less of a place where you would lose energy at night when you aren't losing energy during the day. And so these little incremental things, like if you're reacting or you're offended at people, if you're always kind of in a place of um, judgment, or you're at odds with people, you're a victim of sorts. That's going to spill into your dreaming, and then your dreams are going to be filled with energy draining events. So our dreams are magical. There's incredible beings that exist. You may think you're talking to your mommy or something, but you're not. You look in the eyes of the being. These are just shape-shifting magical creatures that are part of the universe, part of the doorways of perception. So we're not alone at all. And when you go into dreaming, you're interacting with energies that are of all types. Same here, actually. Some of the people that you think are humans that you're looking at, like often people that are hitchhiking or on the road or homeless, they're not what you think they are at all. If you were a shaman and you could look at their energy, or you could learn to read energy in a different way, you would tell there's something very different and odd about them, that they don't fit in at all. And so those are amazing people to speak with, or to be around, or to talk to. And there's this world's so incredible, you guys. So um, when you start to discover, and meet with the non-normal energies, and you go out in the world, like I've hitchhiked and I've gone out in the world, and I've met creatures and beings that appear to be normal but are not what you think they are at all. And then I've crossed the barriers of perception in the wilderness at night to where you can perceive what's called the entities of the night. And this is where warriors really, or especially for male warriors, learn about power, because it's a very difficult thing to come to terms with. For women, it's not as difficult. Um, it's Women don't have to go through any of this stuff if they don't want to, because it's just sort of, have a complicated ego. Men have a certain role to play in the dreaming realm, that the type of training that the inorganic layer of energy offers them, it's sort of the jolt they need, and it is real. and women are welcome to learn it. But it's no joke, and neither is dreaming. And the reason we lose energy at night is because we are unconscious about the fact that we live in a world of power, and that when we go to sleep at night and we drift into another layer of perception, we're interacting with energy, not just imagination. I was 4 years old when something started fucking with my dreaming really intensely, and I remember it, and I'm dealing with it to right now, as I speak. These forces aren't just, um, like the unconscious government or the evil cabal or something. We're dealing with an actual interaction with power and forces and energies and entities, and it doesn't mean it's a scary thing at all. And it doesn't mean that there are aliens amongst us or anything. I'm not saying that at all. There's interdimensional beings, and we are interdimensional creatures. We've been isolated to being single dimensional, and even in that we're isolated to a certain layer of this dimension where we can't even perceive the whole of the fucking dimension that we're in at all. Like we are so cut off from seeing and perceiving how magical everything is. So when shamans stop talking to themselves, they can see energy. Therefore they can see, oh, that's not my mommy in my dream time. That's not her coming from, that we didn't cross and meet here at dreams. Because that does happen too. I dream with other people, we meet, and you can do things to like make sure you stay in the same dream. It's really difficult. It takes a lifetime to learn this stuff, unless you have a shaman that comes and intervenes on your life. And then it takes just a matter of a couple of years maybe, but then you have to integrate that for many decades before you can really apply it. Unless some of them are forced to change so drastically that there's no time for that, and that does happen. But it never gets easy, right? Even they, who are very, very dynamic and evolved beings because they were forced to become so, carry a lot of very dangerous possibilities. They can fall into really unique pitfalls because they've saved so much fucking energy in order to be who they are, in order to keep up with the shamans that they're hanging out with. So now you're responsible now for all that energy. And you can't just sort of like say, well, fuck it, I'm going to take a break and go just blow my energy, right? Because you stepped into a new level. So it would mean death for a shaman or a warrior to just try and just go, let it go, and start over kind of thing. It's not a possibility. And that's why this is so scary for you guys, is you don't want to commit all the way to being tied to the source. Because when you stop allowing that which has a hold of us, the hypnosis, to be the way that we function, then you don't have the same source of energy. You're unplugging from the matrix and you're plugging in directly to source. It's a totally uncomfortable experience. And I'm still in the transition of it, right? It's like a delicate affair. It's for the shamans, they call it erasing the island of the tonal and making room for the nawal, and the nawal floods your being. If you do that in a reckless way, you die. You become schizophrenic and end up in a mental ward, or they would say, oh, you had a heart attack or something. So all these viruses and these strokes and these heart attacks and these diabetes and all these things, it's just tied to vibration. It's tied to perception. It's tied to spell casting. The doctor tells you, oh, you have 6 months to live, and people either listen to that or they say, no, I don't. That's not true, sir. You don't know anything. You have to know that they don't know. You have to see how dense they are. I know doctors. They're alcoholics. They're not doing this work. They don't get to be above me or you. Right? Nobody does. There's no scientists out there. Like, scientists are miserable people. You think they know about the magical aspects of things? You guys are all, science, it's science. You're not. You guys don't know anything about science. Nobody does, because we've been lied to about science itself. We've been taught scientism, pseudoscience. it was in the art. It was an article in the paper in the New York Times or something like 10 years ago that said, or 5 years ago, that turns out that the gut and the brain do communicate with each other. And it was this revelation. It's just like, fuck. Like, are we that stupid that we're literally letting, like, how is an article like that allowed to exist? Let alone, that's actually, surprised they even told us the truth there. But the fact that people don't know that the whole body is completely connected, and that we're so dense in our perception of these things. It was the same with dreaming, you guys. Even the truthers out there aren't talking about dreaming, and that's where it's all at. So, um, even unconscious dreaming is necessary, because it's when you're unconscious that your summage point, your perception, moves really far at night, and then you become conscious from that distant place, and that's how you start to learn how to control your dreams. And so we want to utilize these things, not be afraid of them. But it's cool if you just want to meditate all night and restore your being, and you can do that. I can do that, but I'm trying to learn dreaming. you know. But you really have to recapitulate your whole life before the dreaming really breakthrough happens, and then unfortunately, you'll come to terms with the fact that you're gonna have to really, really know how to balance your sexual energy at some point, and it leads to a lot of intense, different ways. You just don't you no longer are caught in the carnal. It's really liberating, but nobody wants to hear that. They want to be stuck there. Part of them wants to stay there for good. It doesn't mean that you don't have amazing sex. You don't get to have. It's just that when your focus can't be based on that, it's just something that happens naturally, and it isn't something that you focus on. And then it's so much better. So much healing occurs, and then it's not interfering with your freedom, your path to perception. So if that's what your focus is, and you're in a place of needing, and I was this way for a long time, so I don't expect people to be able to change it. But there is a huge breakthrough when you're no longer caught in that focus. It'll heal your dream time, because you won't get caught in any of the sensuality poles that occur at nighttime. So this is really, and that's when you start to realize, oh God, I am getting jerked around in my night at sleep. I get caught in these sex dreams. I get caught in these arguments. I get caught in, looking in the mirror and trying to make myself look right. And I get caught in all this stuff. And it's really difficult, right? It's a real thing. Wow, I jumped this, you guys. This is all deja vu. This fence and this whole scene, this whole moment. I jumped this a long time ago. It's because of this bird on a wire. That was the, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we are. So, thank you for asking me to do this, and thanks for everyone who's here. You guys if you want to learn dreaming, you've come to a really powerful place to do that. It's not something that happens quickly, because I don't offer a quick course of this work, and I am offering people to work one-on-one a lot more, and I'm going to start private groups and stuff, and get other people involved that can teach me and you eventually. So this will be a place for us, a platform, I mean, unless I'm called to do other things, but I don't think I'd be called in here to do this and then just take off. But please feel free to reach out to me, and I look forward to hearing your stories. And it's just, there's these really simple, practical ways in which we transform our life, and it does a lot. For some of you, it'll start in your dreaming. Some of you, it'll start in your career, or to start with your relationship with your mom. But we just start somewhere, and we heal our relationship with all of this incredible power that exists in the world, right? We're not afraid of power anymore. Dreaming is power, right? Psychedelics, power plants is power plants, right? Tequila is a power plant, really. If you're it's toxic. I don't want people to have sugar. Sugar is a terrible thing to take into your body. But the point is that whatever you are doing, engage in it with all of your power, and treat the item in which you're engaging with as an object of power. Treat each day as an opportunity to have a relationship with power. So the abstract is power, right? The abstract flight is power. Crossing dreaming gates, power. The gate of power, which is to move with your body in a liberated way in the wilderness at night without being able to feel the earth beneath you, without being able to see what's in front of you. Something shows up and takes care of you. It's a relationship with power. Perceiving the entities of the night, coming to terms with what's interfering with your dreaming, facing that, changing your life accordingly, changing your life so that your dreams become an accessible means for you to evolve. This is incredible, you guys. This is incredible. You're going to change your life in every way by engaging, and it's just happening. You're being forced to it. The vibration is lifting. If you're not making the transition with the vibration right now, you're suffering. And so I'm here to help you stop suffering. You have to make the adjustment, right? You have to follow the feeling. Follow your feelings. It will tell you what to do. It leads you to all of these adjustments that will magically work out. Sometimes things seem impossible because they are. And that's when God just works it out. That's when spirit shows up and you finally, I don't know, it always have a backup plan. Don't take yourself too seriously, and you won't have to use the backup plan. Just be realistic. Go to work, make money, do your thing, but when you get home, don't check out, check in, but check out when you need to and enjoy it, right? Because checking out is actually healing, as long as you're doing it in a way that is healing. It's just how you see it, how you perceive yourself. This is a celebration, right? Like I've told you, I don't do anything I don't want to do. So even if I'm at work or whatever, it's just always fully listening and knowing that this is my last moment, and I'm here to witness it. I'm here to perceive it as an equal dream to all things, whether it's Hawaii or whatever's going on. It's the same because it's all incredible. And some of you will find that when you go back to work, if you've been on a spiritual trip and you've been thinking you're not supposed to work, or you think you're going to escape the matrix. And there's no escaping the matrix, you guys. You have to unlock from it. You have to unbind from it so that it doesn't affect you. That's it. And so you do that at night. You do that in dreaming. You do that by doing the movements that unlock perception. You do them over and over until they affect you. If you don't want that, then that's okay. But and I get it. It's a really difficult thing to evolve. And so when you find somebody that can help you expedite that process, you're like, oh wait, no, and you come up with an excuse to not do it, as I did. So it's very normal. And so, yeah, this will take me time to explain, you guys. This it's in your eyes. I can tell you that when your eyes become, they will change, and because you beckon intent with your eyes. That makes sense. So when it's time to focus and you really need to do something and achieve perception, you need to get silent. Or if you're doing tree pose in yoga, you just sort of, something's happening where you're no longer allowing the world to impact how you're perceived. You're perceiving the world as if you're just a raw perceiver. And these doors open. There's all these rooms inside your being that you haven't unlocked. Start unlocking them. Open up. There's all this room in there for you to be free and to move your body and to dance and to sort of become, in a state. Like, there's just so much to unlock, you guys. And so your eyes are the thing that will determine that. So you want to reclaim your attention and look at beautiful things. Look at beautiful people. Some of the most beautiful people are not the people you think they are, they're hiding in pretty scary places sometimes, or what would seem to be a scary place, but there is no scary places, you guys. Can you imagine being that free? There are women that just travel Mexico solo, like freely, liberated because they do this work. Their magnetism is so incredible that they're guided. They listen. They don't get in the car or do something unless they're it's fully guided, because they're patient. So it's not about being a woman or a man. I'm not. And now, don't go get me wrong. Unless you have that magnetism, unless you've done this work, you go out there, you're just gonna learn a hard lesson. This is for people that really understand and have done the work. Okay. It's gonna take time, and you're gonna have the time. You wouldn't be learning this gnosis and then like, okay, you have to expedite your process and learn it today, and we're running out of time. That's not how it works. This is just a dream. And yeah, the timelines are getting scary and things are getting intense, right? This war is about to happen between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. But at the same time, like, that's our dance. Like, our life is they're going to try to make our lives really difficult. That's perfect. Thank you. I didn't need any of the things you were offering anyways. I never did. And now I know it. And me and you and all those that are going to stand in our gnosis, right? We're going to heal and hold for truth. And there will be such a beautiful dynamic growth edge that'll occur. And it doesn't mean things don't go bad here, you guys. Not that there's bad or good, but things do get difficult. But there's a reason for it. And so we want, rather than try to seek an easy life or an escape, we want to gain the strength to live a hard life. And then it won't be a hard life. It'll just be a warrior's life, a story worth telling. I promise you want this. You want in. There's nothing else to do. The distractions that you think are worthy are not. And pretty soon that'll get really obvious. And then, it's going to be really lonely if you're still trying to distract yourself when everybody's that solid has reclaimed their attention and is going inward. So don't try to pretend you're something you're not. Admit to where you're at. Come to us straight up, any me or any of my teachers you want to work with, and doors will fly open for you if you're honest. This honesty is making a comeback. Really, authenticity is the new power. So be vulnerable and admit that you know nothing about dreaming, and be willing to change your life to heal your relationship with your luminosity. So this way, when you go to sleep at night, you're finding ways to keep your juice so that you wake up with it. And then those new neural pathways that you're forging, you can continue on, because that's what you're here for. And the dark sea of awareness lends energy to those that are forging new neural pathways. So if you're looking for extra energy, forge a new neural pathway with your perception, with your son and your daughter, with your mom, with your grandma. Forge a new neural pathway for them. Be willing to go all the way over to where they're at, and they may not be able to meet you halfway like you'd like them to. Stop being offended. Be the bigger person. Take the high road. Heal yourself. Be so humble and vulnerable that you're willing to be a fool, so that others can feel comfortable, in their own humility. And if you're willing to be a fool, no one can make you a fool. And so you're actually practicing the art of stalking, or the art of controlled folly. You're becoming liberated. Reality is, you want to be able to be any character in this dream, so that when you go into another dream, which there are others, there are entire other dreams that are just as real as the one we're in right now. But some of them are so different that if you showed up and you didn't have your dreaming dynamics worked out, like if a shaman took you there too soon, you would attract everybody, and they would notice you were different. You have to be able to fit in. And the only way to fit in is to match perception. And the only way to match perception is to not be offended. So when a bunch of gangsters show up, you can run a certain vibration that it makes it so that you're not, going to invite the danger that they're holding the door open for. You know what energy to run. And this world will always teach you that. And so it's same in dreaming. As long as you're willing to listen and you're not caught up in yourself and you're not overreacting. So if things are too awesome, the awe, the shock, that will be really obvious that you don't belong there. If you're revolted, that would be really obvious. So you have to be able to go with these incredible changes, and the eyes determine that transition, right? So you have to be able to make the change, and you'll notice it in your energy level. It's called changing speed. These are magical adjustments that we're capable of making. So, but in the meantime, learning to get your energy back through the art of recapitulation, which again, I can help people one-on-one with that. I can help people to set it up, but it takes time. It takes quite a few sessions before I can get people to have the energy level to start the recapitulation effectively, and you won't work unless you have the energy. So it's really a revamping of your daily habits, a revamping of your priorities, you getting clear on what you're here to do on this earth, and working through your shadow, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to try to stop you from recapitulating because it's so powerful. If you were to do it though in any form, it would change your dreams, and then you wouldn't be getting jacked around. But there's other ways. Like I said, just changing the drama in your life, having no drama in your life, no drama in your sleep, means no bullshit, less energy loss, right? But it doesn't mean it gets easy. In fact, it just gets more intense, which is what you want. And then you want to become an intense person. You want to run and be able to handle intensity, because then you're feeling amazing all the time, and you're not like sluggish. That requires eating high vibrational foods. Once you eat a lot of high vibrational foods and you try to go back to denser foods, it's really difficult. And then you're like, oh fuck, And so and then you try to sample something or have some sugar or something, and you get wrecked. And that happens. It's unfortunate that we're that reckless once we know, but we are that reckless. We do that because something. But at the same time, that the celebration or the reason for it or whatever you're doing, it's not a negative thing. It's just where you're at. And so this idea that we're so evolved and we can do all these things, that's obviously not true. We're not doing shit. We're so handicapped, you guys. We have to come to peace with that and make the very slow and beautiful transition into magical creatures, knowing that it's going to be we're up against some real constant interference, as there should be, as we move into this rising or matching of forces. We're gonna have, as we rise, that force is just there to just keep climbing with us. It's an incredible, beautiful thing, and we're literally gonna get to the point where we're flying straight up and just forging new ground. And then the AI and the transhumanism is going to be chasing us. We think we're chasing it, but we're just chasing each other. It's just a dream, you guys, but it's getting strong. So like I've said before, meditation and yoga used to be kind of like how we got to where we're at. It's going to move into things like magical passes and the immortals and Tai Chis and the older Tai Chis and the Aikido, the side of Aikido that's powerful, the real side. People are gonna gravitate, and this stuff's gonna. So it looks like all those arts are dying, but they're gonna hold in a sense. But this isn't for everybody. It's not like everybody's coming along on the journey that we're going on. You gotta want in. It's a very rare thing that to cultivate your energy like this. And so I hope you're feeling that. I hope you understand what's being offered here, and that you prepare yourself and take care of yourself, and make the change slowly that will, make a sustainable bridge for you between where you are and the abstract. And it's getting so much easier than it was before. So there's so much more support, and you want to know where your helpers are, right? You want to have that clarity of like who you've been with in the past, that you can call on that energy. There's bonds that you have with people that you may maybe not even be friends with them, but the bond itself. There's all these cool things you can pull from that are your power sources. Put the things in your home that are going to be, in your view. What are the things that make you feel supported? What are the books that anchor you in this world? What are the things that you need right now? Eventually you won't need anything, right? You'll just want emptiness. You'll just be like a Zen master that just wants to swim in the dark all the time. And for women, that's when you'll be in your power. That's when your sexual energy will become available to you in a new way, so that you can go after your memories and get your power back, and build and build and build that power. Becoming aware of your power. So that doesn't mean celibacy. That means knowing your power. So it'd be the opposite, but it doesn't mean being reckless with it either. So this is a delicate journey to become sexually awakened, and then be able to apply that to the shamanic side of things, which, whether you like it or not, we're all moving toward. So getting used to the idea of being a powerful person is okay now. It's time to step out of the cults that you've been in, and go inward, and stop letting others hold you back. You don't need to be part of a sweat lodge group, or part of a vision quest community, or have a shaman, or any of this to evolve. In fact, that's holding most people back because of the groupthink. Groupthink is their biggest problem now, and we have to come to terms with it. The truth is coming out, and unless people are willing to look at it, we're going to be in a situation that the people that are unbiased are going to be literate and be able to perceive reality, and then those that are biased are not going to be able to interact with reality, and they're going to lose their minds. And so we were warned about this, and a long time ago, in the prophecies or whatever, and it's people refer to these beings as the berserkers when their credit cards don't work, and they haven't learned how to fast, or they haven't learned how to just, I don't know, accept transitions and challenges. It's tricky, but at the same time, we're those of us that are listening, we're going to be able to be a sober voice during these difficult transitions. You're going to wear the armor of God, and you're going to go out and face whatever needs to be done and do it. Sometimes some of you are going to have to be leaders. Yeah, you're going to realize that nobody knows what to say or do, but it's going to fall on you, because you do know what to say, and you are being shown what to do. And so start to prepare, work with mentors that can prepare you for that type of leadership. Work with whatever system that you're attracted to or called to, in order to step into that role. Because we're all magical beings. You don't have to learn shamanism to be a magical leader, to be an inspiration, to be a dynamic voice in a circle of people. just in LA here meeting like my son's friends. It's like they just one of this kid just poured his heart out to me, like just was just telling me his whole story, and he just was like, it just we got somewhere really fast, and he really needed that, you know. It just, you never know where it's gonna happen, um, so we're gonna need you guys to be online and be available and be able to work with any walk of life that comes into your path. And let's not be, biased, so that we're not picking sides here. People are going to need help from all views and counter views, and the counterculture, and the indoctrinated, all kinds. So um, there's ways to help people without trying to take them out of certain parts of hypnosis that they're not ready to come out of. So we want to be sympathetic to that. But meanwhile, really, unless we're sort of have done the dreaming, or we've gotten to the place where we can sort of focus and do pretty advanced silence training, meditation that's on that deeper level, we don't really have any business really trying to help people right now. I would be working on going inward as much as possible. So yeah, we're going to learn to keep our energy and keep those possibilities, those magical possibilities, as much as we can. And eventually, you start to realize, man, I'm swinging from knowing I can do this to just knowing I cannot do this. And you start to realize the voice in your head, and how it works, and what it takes in order to keep that voice from interfering. Those negative thoughts have to be looked at and dealt with, and that's shadow work, right? So stop speaking of the past in negative ways, because you're actually speaking of the future, because there is no past. You're just spell casting. Anytime you're talking, you're spell casting. Right? Now I can say, oh, I fucked up, or this and that, because I know how to use so I may, but I'm going to change that too, right? I'm going to stop saying things in a certain way, and it'll change my life even more than I've already changed it. So don't take yourself seriously. It's not like you have to become like, I have friends that sit there and say om, or they're caught in all these rituals and ways of living, and and it's funny. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I know incredible people, you guys, that just do the most beautiful things and have done full-on shamanic, way more advanced stuff than I have. But some of them are completely out of balance, and won't be able to be a grounding source of guidance. But they will be of service, right? They'll be needed, but they won't be able to lead. We won't be able to look to them for sobriety, but we'll be able to look to them for how to harvest a certain plant that we're going to need, and that's going to be just as critical. Does that make sense? So there's nobody that's it's just, we're all one, and we're out in the desert right now, and we're going to find out what we're made of, and it's going to be beautiful. And you guys are beautiful. Everyone is a miracle. I hope you want to discover your miracle, your dharma, because that is your gift. That's whatever it is that you came in here to. It's probably tied to your trauma. It's probably tied to something you didn't get, and so you want to give what you didn't get, and you want to heal your relationship with your pain through the actions of today. And it's a really magical way of transcending everything. And so you can find people that need help, and you can help them. And it can be the way in which you move beyond your ego. But it's what the Toltecs say, it's a 3,000-headed monster. And it's the monster of self-importance. And you can only cut off one head at a time. So it takes a long time. And that's okay, because we have the time. We're going to do the tortoise thing, and but at the same time you gotta run, right? It's like the tortoise is moving as fast as it moves, so it's not like you're just standing there. You're going to move at full speed once you understand what's at stake, but you're going to do so without leaving anything behind. And so take care of yourself. Start to make the adjustments sexually, financially, um, energetically. Make adjustments that are conserving but liberating. You don't want to like conserve and repress energy. You want liberated energy, but you want to take care of that energy so that you're keeping that energy for you rather than handing it over to somebody else. There's a way to do that, and you're going to start to find that out for yourself. That's going to change your ability to uh, maintain your energy levels so that when you wake up the next day, you're just as inspired to move beyond the limitations of your perception as you were the night before when you went to sleep. And then instead of being in the same place you are now a year from now, or even lower vibration, you're going to have a higher vibration, and eventually the years start to stack and the vibration starts to get intense, and you start to have vision, you start to have real insight, and you start to move beyond needing somebody to anchor you, because you learn how to do these things for yourself. So it's a beautiful opportunity for all of you, and it's incredibly exciting mood that we find ourselves in, a real powerful shift of truth and awakening, and some beautiful people coming online, coming into the world to share their gnosis, to celebrate what their story, right? Because it's all a celebration, it's all a story. It's a powerful one. None of it matters at all, and yet every single detail matters. Every single person, when they're raking the leaves, to driving the bus, all their feelings, all their fears and thoughts and loneliness and wishes and dreams. You guys, it's so rich. It's all so rich. See it in everyone. Fall in love with everyone. Love their pain, love their confusion, love their character, love their story. It's a novel. Each story is a novel. This whole book is one gigantic story, and it's the greatest story ever told, and it's about to get fucking so sick. It's about to get so incredible. I hope you're not being lied to anymore. You can see through, what is a lie, and start to understand that there's very few of us. That's exciting. That's a good thing. That means especially we're going to have tons of support, you guys. We're going to be good. So let's enjoy the potential. And when you're setting yourself up to go to sleep, just really go ahead and ask. I'd like to really keep my energy tonight. In fact, I'd like to gain some energy. And then, see what happens. But you're going to be told how to do that, and it's whether or not you listen, right? You can't just ask for it, and then when you're shown, or that you feel what to do, and you don't follow the feeling, then I can't help you. So you guys know what to do. That's what's so funny. You're all magical. So enjoy being magical. Take care of yourselves, and love each other. Be well.